Okay, yeah, here we are again at the graph paper. I know that terrifies you. As we were finishing up our sponson transoms and stuff, I got to thinking about the turn fin and its mount, and so I went and checked my supply of mounting hardware. And that be the wrong size. We're going to use 832 stainless socket head cap screws, and we're going to use T-nuts. However, we need 832 T-nuts, and these are the wrong size. Look at how dried out those fingers are. Whew. It's crazy here. Anyway, as it turns out, I'm all out, so I have ordered new T-nuts. I'll put a link. You can get them from Amazon. You can get them from McMaster Car, Tacoma Screw, Fastener Express. I'll put a link so it's easy for you. 832 by 1/2 here, and then just your classic 832 stainless T-nuts. You can use zinc ones too, and you'll be all right. But stainless gives you that little bit of extra corrosion protection, so we need to order those. However, I've been thinking about this ever since I got these parts, and darn it, they're not right. This stuff, well, it's good, okay? This comes from Bill Brandt at Rattlesnake RC, H&P Racing, okay? This gentleman machines, does a beautiful job. This is a beautiful turn fin. It's not exactly the shape that I think I want to use ideally, but we're going to run it anyway. I want to know how this Rattlesnake RC stuff works off the shelf for you, so that you can also try it and see if it will work for you. If it stinks the big one, I'll build a new one, and so will you, because I'll show you how. But for now, here we go. Now the problem that I have is with the bracket that he sends. It's very thick, meaning it's very heavy. On the one hand, that sounds good because it won't flex much, and that's a good thing. In fact, let's talk about that over here on the strobo light that is beat to death. I should be fixing it. This is my own creation here. I make these myself. It's thinner. It's 7075 aluminum, so it's pretty stout. And I use the same 100 thousandths 7075 turn fin. And I don't particularly like this shape either, so don't go looking at that thinking, well, I don't like it. Neither do I. I was just too lazy to build a new one last year. I was too busy. We had a lot of family stuff going on. But flex-wise, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. This thing flexes a lot. I'm going to hold here and push. You see how much that flexes? And a lot of that is in the bracket. Of course, some of it's in the fin. That's a big, long piece of, 100 thou. So, okay, a heavier bracket might help. Should help, will help, I think. You noticed over there that I mount the turn fin behind it. I've seen a lot of guys mount it out here. That don't make no sense, because you've only got the clamping force right here at this at the screw and nothing else. So you want to talk about adding to the flex possibility. You've raised the flex point all the way up to here, and you've circled it around one spot. Not good. We're going to mount it behind it. Now I know you want the turn fin as far out on the, you should want the turn fin as far out on the sponson as you can get it within reason. So you say, well, I get an extra eighth of an inch here. Yeah, I'm going to go with the greater rigidity over the I've got an extra eighth of an inch thing. Speaking of moving it out an extra eighth of an inch and coming to the thing that I really wanted to talk about here today that really bothers me, and I'm going to talk to old Uncle Bill over there at Rattlesnake RC and get this problem solved. This thing's backwards. This would be a pretty good turn fin if we were going to mount it on the outside sponson. It's a terrible turn fin, I mean not turn fin, but turn fin bracket on the outside sponson. But it's a horrible turn fin bracket on the inside sponson, and here's why. Do you already see the problem? Hey, it's adjustable. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's cool, but it's backwards. Let me see if I can demonstrate. These are, gosh, that is beautiful work, by the way. I don't do that nice of work. I do a whole lot of hand work till I make it look like I did beautiful machine work. Okay, so we're gonna mount this right on our sponson. Should I use a sponson? No, let me make a point here first. Where's we are gonna start at 12 degrees. But it's adjustable, right? And so that's gonna make everybody happy. There's straight up and down, so I gotta go to 102, that's pretty close. Okay, I hope you can see this. Using the GoPro now, so I really don't know. I'm going to line up on a line here, and I'm going to try to get us, right on one of the squares. Let's highlight that. Shall we? Yes. Where's the lead? Gosh, the lighting in here is not very good. Let me turn that on. The Boat Shop 2.0, I'm still trying, okay? We have a new engineer working with the county to try to solve the floodplain issues. And there's some who believe that we're going to succeed in building the new shop. I sure hope so. Because working out here, I mean, it's fine. I know a lot of you work in tiny garages or closets practically, but I'm used to a big, nice shop, okay? All right, so what we're doing is I'm going to line up on here, and then I'm going to have my 12 degrees, and I'm just trying to target this little cross that we made right here. And assuming that we're out near the edge of a sponson right now, okay? Get the idea? And so we bolt that thing on, and so we're going to put our bolt in, and we're going to center this bolt, this lower bolt, up in that slot. I'm not going to put one in there, but I don't know if you can tell. I marked it there so I could see where it was. All right, so there's my 12 degrees, and we run the boat, and we think, gosh, I need to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to adjust it to the other end of that slot. You starting to see the problem? Well, I need to try adjusting it the other way, so I'm going to adjust the other end of the slot. Let's look at this. Okay, when I make my adjustment, I'm raising the turn fin if I go this way. I'm lowering the turn fin if I go the other way. And I'm moving that thing over. Oh, this one's worn out. I'm moving that thing over a 1/4 inch each time. So I'm going down and over and up and over. Okay, you can do that, but I don't want to change that many things all at once. Yeah, I want to change the depth, but I'm going to do that with a couple extra slots, you know. I mean, a couple extra holes here. We're going to try some different positions here. Fore and aft, we're going to make some extra holes so we can do this number here. But I don't want to change two things at once. If I want to change that angle, I don't want to also move it over. Did you catch on yet? Also, if I'm mounting this and I'm putting my turn fin on here and I'm throwing this thing out on the water and I'm going super fast, hopefully, the pressure on the turn fin is huge, centered and near the bottom. And it's going to want to pull this guy over against this slot really easily. So you better be cranking that baby down. And when you crank it down, now you're collapsing the wood that it's attached to. And now you've sucked this into the wood, and now you've changed the toe on it. By toe, I mean front to rear toe. We're going to talk about this in great detail later, okay? How many things you want to change all at once? You ever seen that where you pull the bracket off and you see the wood's all collapsed? That's because you've been cranking on it, trying to keep, and make it hold still. No, this is backwards. The solid point, the pivot point should be here. Slot should be up here. When I build my brackets, I put 2 bolts on them for the slots. If we mount it here, it's going to be hard to kind of hold it now, but I'm going to fake it. I should have marked my 12, huh? Let's do that. So we're starting off from the same spot. Let's do legit comparison here, folks. Okay. I'm just gonna have to guess on how far on the slot too now, but something, oh, let's drop that lead back in and that'll become my pivot point. I'm gonna try to hold it there. Now I can swing it a lot. I went a long ways and I moved it maybe 1/8 of an inch. Again, I'm just trying to hold this spot back. And we've gone almost straight up and down. Okay, yes, the height moves a little bit, but we're not swinging this thing all over back and forth. Plus, the pull on this now is pulling directly against a center mounted bolt. Sure, it still wants to swing the slotted bolt, but that's way up there. It's pulling on this one. No, you slot the top, you pivot from the bottom. We're going to change this bracket because I still want to use Bill's bracket, okay? I mean, you can do this, but I'll talk to him and I'll see if he'll reverse this and he'll make the pivot here and the slot up here so that when you order it, you will get the new and improved, and he should do his fancy engraving here too and put M5 Performance right here. Actually, do it out here because this is going to mount here. All right, I'm going to make some changes on this. Maybe I'll try to film that for you too. But that's my latest complaint. It's my life. Oh, it's sketchy. But it is how I do it. Hang on. We blew the breaker. Hang tight. There you go. Look. No blood. All fingers and toes still attached. Well, I haven't checked my toes, but I'm just kind of assuming they're there. Isn't that cool? Estate sale. Every now and then, you know, just look them up on Craigslist and go hit them. Someday somebody's going to go to my estate sale and find all kinds of crazy crap. I'm kind of a pliers addict. Put this back in my Super Trick custom turn pin bracket tool. There you go. Now it's done properly. All right, y'all want to see what we did? Let's start over here. There's my 12 degrees. There's my new bracket. And by the way, I milled this off here too. Lets me move it out a little bit further. The other reason I did that is I'm just super cool like that. Took this back off too. Did you notice on the bracket? Oh, see this radius here? Can you see how that radius is off? Just because that's just the material that it is. This part did that too. And so when you're mounting the turn fin with that radiusing away there, that part's not doing anything. And plus I think it just looks kind of goofy. So I just went ahead and buzzed that part off too. It's lighter weight. Well, the other thing this does, by the way, if you think about this, if this part is down, you're going to impact some water there. That kind of behaves a little bit like a riding surface. This is a game of thousands, man. It makes a difference. So now we hit water, right? It just kind of glances off. Yeah. All right. We're going to check. We're on our 12. We're going to get this right down to the bottom here. Let's mark the center point of our slot. Come on now. there-ish. Oh, it moved. Oh. Let's get it back in place. Okay. Put in our mounting screw in. Center of our slot. We are here and here. Far side of the slot. We've moved to here and here. Other far end of our slot. We are right in our original position here and raised up ever so slightly. That's our circle of influence now instead of here. Oh, we got to drill a bunch of holes now here. You'll figure that out. Give yourself a few. Don't just lay this on there and start drilling now. See what we're doing? It's going to hit here. We'll probably wind up carving some of this off. In fact, let's just go ahead and talk about that. We want this to be more or less at the water line. Okay? You know what I mean? Parallel with the bottom of our boat. It's one of the things I don't like about this fin is it's swept way, way, way back. So that is what it is, right? Because what if we put it on there leaning forward in what I would think would be a little, hey, you know what? I could cut this and modify. Anyway, that's for another day. I really want to do that, but we're going to see how this fin works. So it's going to be on the boat, assuming that this perfectly straight line here that I just drew is our water line. It's going to be on something like that, which means this part here is going to be the most forward point, right? And that's definitely going to run into this huge radius here. See how it's standing? You probably can't see it. It's making it stand up off of the bracket. I got to come all the way back to here to be at a decent point in the bracket. So a perfectly logical thing to do would be to cut this like right about here. And you know what? You can do this kind of stuff with your belt sander. It's how I used to do it. It's not that hard. Just be careful. Take your time. You'll get it right. You can do the same thing here, or if you got a good metal blade in your bandsaw, go bandsaw that thing off. I did that a little bit crooked there, but the belt sander is a perfectly dandy way to do that. Plus it's slow, which keeps you from making a giant mistake easily. So chop that part off. We're going to wind up cutting the top of this off eventually, maybe even now, because it doesn't do anything up there, right? You're really not ever going to be mounting it way down here this far down. First of all, you don't have a bevel that's going to hit water straight on. Not good. It just never needs to be that deep. So all this is just extra fluff up here. I get why it's there, right? It's designed to allow this to rotate. It's quite obvious that the builder made it a radius around this pivot point here, and that's all well and good and fine, but I don't like it, so we're going to hack that off. I'm going to feel really bad about that for about 12 seconds, and it'll be a better fin for it. So we're going to cut this. That'll allow us to use a further forward mounting position. Not that we want to, but we want to be able to try it. We want to be able to try a few different positions, and then we're going to give us some positions up and down. So I'll probably do something in this neighborhood here. Okay, total, I don't know if you can see them. Probably a total of 9 holes. I realize that does weaken the bracket a little bit. I'm more about the adjustment than I am the strength. Plus this is already thicker than the one I used on that boat over there and the one that's on that boat over there. So even with 9 holes, this is going to be a stronger bracket. Now let's talk about the holes. He pre-drilled this one here, I noticed, to this same 832. I use 1032s on here. Why? Because it's a little bit stronger. I use a regular iron screw. Yes, it can rust a little bit. Don't care. I need the strength here. Stainless actually stretches. When you tighten it, it stretches. You see a turn fins that are kicking up. Look at the screw. It's probably a stainless screw. It's I know everyone thinks stainless. Ooh, how strong. No, it's not strong. It's actually very weak. stretches very easily. This does not. So I'll drill this out to this 1032, and that's what the holes will be in my bracket. Okay? All right. That gives you a few things to do, a few things to think about. I know it's irritating. Order the parts. You can do this. Talk to Bill. Tell him you want it done the M5 performance way. All right, here we go.